Hey everybody. So, I work for 1199. It's a healthcare union, and the way things are looking in Washington, places like where I work and other places may start to be on the decline because the people in Washington really don't care. They don't care about what they're doing. They don't care about the decisions they're making. They don't care. All they care about is their own special interests. So, we have to get out there and vote, okay? People, we have to get out there and vote. Also, one thing I wanted to remind you guys, check your ballots on the back. On the back, there are different proposals that they are going to do or things that they want to do that may not work for you. So you have to look on the back of your ballot to see what these proposals are and vote on them. Vote yes or no, okay? Look at the back of the ballot. A lot of people don't. All right, that's the main thing. But anyway, so George Gresham, who is our fearless leader, he wrote an editorial in this thing, and it made me want to read it to you guys because you really don't understand. There's a lot of people I think out here that really don't understand why we need to vote on Tuesday, all right? And this really breaks it down. So I'm going to read this to you, okay? Sisters and brothers, there are only a few days to go before Election Day, when the fate of our families, communities, and countries will be decided. For those of you who know the game of poker, I'm not encouraging it, there sometimes comes a point at the end of the evening when someone calls table stakes. This means that all the players are betting all their money on the next hand of cards. Everyone is all in. That's where we are in the political life of our country. Right now, both houses of Congress and the White House are controlled by far-right-wing, worker-hostile politicians. We have just gone through a shameful power grab by these same forces to hijack democracy and turn the U.S. Supreme Court into a wholly owned subsidiary of their interests and corporate America. After denying even a hearing, let alone a vote to President Obama's nominee of the court, the GOP-controlled Senate is allowing President Trump, who lost the popular election by 3 million votes, to appoint at least 2 justices to the court. These people will determine what is constitutional, and that is in quotes, constitutional, for the next generation. We're witnessing nothing less than a slow-motion coup d'etat. If it wasn't clear before, we now know the ruthlessness of these people. Everything is on the line. That is not an overstatement. So on Tuesday, November 6th, it's table stakes for us. President Trump is not on the ballot, but hundreds of his supporters are. This is why we have to vote, okay? And if they win, they're coming after the Affordable Care Act, Medicaid and Medicare, and Social Security. They'll also be coming for our collective bargaining rights, our occupational safety and health, the minimum wage, and family leave. You guys, we need this stuff, all right? He's trying to take away everything that Obama did. These people aim to destroy immigrant rights, voting rights, reproductive rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and to dismantle every progressive initiative of the last century. The last century. At risk are our public schools, children's health insurance programs, the U.S. Postal Service, because, yep, they're going to be going to. Watch it. It's already on a decline. And basic laws protecting our air and water. Okay? How do we know this? Because they keep saying so. They already made a big head start in just the first 2 years of the Trump presidency. But at the same time, if we do what we need to do and take care of business, we can finally begin to turn our country around. We can make history, for example, by electing progressive governors like Ben Jealous in Maryland, Andrew Gillum in Florida, and Stacey Abrams in Georgia. The entire House of Representatives is up for election. So is 1/3 of the Senate. If we take back Congress, we will have built a wall against the Trump presidency and the drive to turn back the clock. For several months, The news media has been talking about the possibility of a blue wave and Democrats taking back the House of Representatives and perhaps the Senate. That's what we need. Public opinion polls back up the talk. But that's just chatter and polls. Remember what the polls were telling us up to November 6, 2016? We woke up on November 7th with Donald Trump as our next president. So this isn't the time for apathy or leaving things for another day or to someone else. Forget the talk and the polls. There will be a blue wave only if we make it happen. Blue, Democrat, people. The Republicans don't give a shit about you unless you're one of them. All right? All of us must vote on November 6th. In these days before the election, we've got to be talking with our family members, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and the folks who worship where we worship. We've got to make time for phone calls and door knocking. Your delegate or organizer can give you times and places. That's if you work for the union. But if you're a regular person, talk to people. Tell them what's going on, man. Most important, we've got to act like we're fighting for our lives because that's exactly what we're doing for real. That is the editorial. And you know what? It touched me so much that it's true. I had to read it to you guys because it's true. Please, if you don't understand how or why it's important to vote on November 6th, please talk to somebody and figure out why it is, okay? Because there's a lot of things you can read. There's a lot of stuff going on where you can educate yourself as to why you need to vote and educate yourself on the issues that are coming up, educate yourself on the candidates that are coming up on November 6th, because these folks, you know, they're going to be deciding the future, all right? Because I know that in the next 10 years, I will be just about a senior citizen, and I don't want the country in the hands of people that really don't give a shit, because I won't have a future and neither will you guys, all right? So it's very important to vote. Another thing, if you have folks that live in your area that may need help getting to the polls, volunteer, take them to the polls, all right? I know that I'll be letting people in my building know because we have a couple of seniors. You know, if you need me to walk with you, I'll walk with you. Anything, get out there and educate yourself if you don't know, all right? Once you do know, do something about it, all right? Because if you don't vote, shut the fuck up about everything you're fucking complaining about that's wrong with this country, because guess what? You're part of it. You don't vote, darling. You don't vote. People think that voting is not important. It's important, okay? It's not just about voting for president. It's about November 6th, these are the issues that are coming up, man. This is Congress. This is Senate. Okay, these are the things that are going to affect you long after Trump is gone. Vote November 6th, all right? Study.